Hey, welcome to the show, everyone. So glad you're joining me today on this last day of July 2023. Good coffee. Hope you got your coffee today. Today, we're going to explore why banning incandescent bulbs might not be the brightest idea, no pun intended. Now, I get it. We all want to save the planet. There's no denying that incandescent bulbs are energy hogs, but let's put things in perspective, shall we? Yeah, the incandescent bulb might not be the most energy efficient option out there, but they're certainly not on par with something as catastrophic as, say, I don't know, bombs? You know? Oh, you heard me right, bombs. Those terrifying devices of destruction that have the power to cause immense harm and devastation. And guess what? While we're fussing over light bulbs, our government is supplying Ukraine with countless bombs. It's like worrying about a dripping faucet when your house is on fire. Now, I'm all for making environmentally conscious choices, but banning light bulbs, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. Instead of forcing people into submission, let's channel our efforts into finding better alternatives and incentives, greener choices. You know? Let's take a page from the CRT TV saga. You remember those clunky boxes? They weighed a ton. Well, they vanished from our lives not because they were banned, but because technology offered a sleeker, more efficient option. We made the switch willingly because it made sense, not because someone told us we couldn't have our beloved CRTs. So instead of banning incandescent bulbs, why not empower people with knowledge? Show them the tangible benefits of energy-efficient alternatives. Educate them about the long-term cost savings, the reduced carbon footprint, positive impact on the environment, and they're a lot cheaper. It's all about persuasion, my friends. Persuasion, not coercion. And let me tell you, when you persuade people with reason and facts, they'll be more willing to embrace change willingly. It's like trying to convince a teenager to clean their room. You're more likely to succeed with a solid argument rather than grounding them indefinitely. So let's shift our focus from bans to persuasion. Let's be smart about how we address environmental issues. Yes, incandescent bulbs might not be perfect, but neither are bans. Let's work together to make informed choices, promote sustainable options, and light up a brighter, greener future for everyone. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. Best damn censored commentary and news show live. Right now, flame on. So yeah, here's the story. Biden administration's banning incandescent light bulbs starting this week, replacing them with energy-efficient bulbs. The Department of Energy approved new regulations. Yay! Regulations, more. Setting a minimum standard of 45 lumens per watt for light bulbs, which is an increase over brightness and of incandescent bulbs. Retailers will be prohibited from selling bulbs that do not meet the new standard. The decision aims to conserve energy and reduce energy bills, as energy-efficient bulbs use significantly less energy and last much longer than incandescent bulbs. Former President George W. Bush initiated the effort to phase out less efficient bulbs, and former President Barack Obama added regulations. Yay, more regulations! In 2017 to further the goal. The move is expected to save Americans around $3 billion on utility bills each year. Republicans have criticized the ban as burdensome, while advocates argue it's long overdue and will benefit households with higher energy burdens. The regulations are also expected to reduce carbon emissions significantly over the next 30 years. This is the whopper here. Approximately 30% of U.S. households used incandescent or halogen incandescent bulbs in 2020. Yeah, so what do you think about this? What do you think about this? You know, one thing, you know, the idea, you have an idea, and kind of shorthand is the little cartoon of the incandescent light bulb with the little wire, you know, with the little spring in it that lights up. Well, that's gone. It's all LED now, baby. All LED. You know, for a while, the first replacement for the incandescent bulb was the compact fluorescent. Those went away, didn't they? Right? I think I still have some, but as soon as they're gone, they're replaced by the new LEDs. I looked around my house. I couldn't find a single incandescent bulb that I have. I would wonder who is buying these bulbs. Who's buying these bulbs? And I'm talking about the cheap ones that we use at home, not the fancy decorative ones. I'm talking about the cheap ones that we use in homes. I would suspect the only people that would be buying these bulbs are people that don't have to pay their electric bill. That would be my assumption. If you are a renter or something like that, if you're a renter and you're not paying your electric bill, why would you care about how much energy you use, right? It's all about incentives. It's all about persuasion. Now, I'm not for taxes. I don't think we should tax our way out of this. But don't you think maybe a incandescent bulb tax would be a slightly better way out of this than to just outright ban them? I'm not for new taxes, but I'm not for banning things altogether, too. And what business is it of anyone's? If I have a solar panel on my house and it powers my house, and I want the fancy Edison bulbs because I think they look pretty, and I'm using solar power to do it, what business is that of anyone's? It's not. It's not. Just generally speaking, I'm against bans. You need to present a better case. And at the very least, come up with a better... I don't even know where you can buy, like, these cheap incandescent light bulbs anymore. I have not seen them in stores in a long time. I can't even find them. Do you see them anywhere? Anywhere I go, I don't see any of these old cheap bulbs. I don't even know where I could buy one if I wanted to. Just the way that nobody has an old black and white 9-inch cathode ray tube TV, right? No one's using those anymore. No one's using a big CRT TV. Everybody's got a HD flat screen. In fact, they become so cheap, you can go to a thrift store and pick one up for like $20. That's how you make changes, right? You make things cheaper and you make them better. And when things are cheaper and better, most people are going to gravitate toward that. So, anyway, it's something to think about. I think about, like, my own car. I wanted to drive my car 500,000 miles. I'm not going to be able to do that because I have this beautiful old diesel. Right, I could run it on biodiesel. But the county that I live is doing away with diesel. What's worse for the environment? Driving a car that gets over 40 miles to the gallon, which is what I have, or some new electric vehicle, or some big truck, you know, right? Why attack me and say that I can't have access to the fuel that my vehicle needs when it gets better gas mileage than pretty much any car on the road? Persuasion over banning things. That's the world that I want to live in. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, we got a good show today. We're going to go through a couple of stories. Stick around for the after show. And I'll be going through all your comments on Rumble and on YouTube. Remember, we're streaming live every day on Rumble, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. If you are watching me on Rumble, I have one thing to ask you. Okay, if you're watching this video on demand later on in the day, you're not watching live, do me a favor, leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs down button, I don't care. Do something, let me know that you're not a bot. Because I want to know that all of the views that I'm getting over there are real. So, you know, you can just give me your opinion. You can say, hey, old man, I don't care for what you say. Go pound sand. I don't care. Whatever. But just leave me a comment. I want to know that all of these views are actually by human beings. So thanks for doing that. Let's get to the first story. This involves a big trucking company that I'm sure you're well aware of. Yellow. It's a trucking company. They took a $700 million pandemic loan, and now they're shutting down. Looks like their deliveries were as slow as their financial recovery. Ouch. Here's the story. Yellow, one of the nation's largest freight carriers, is on the brink of bankruptcy and shutdown. Due to financial troubles, customer losses, union issues, the company's freight volumes dropped by 80% with 30,000 jobs at stake. To be the largest trucking bankruptcy in U.S. history, Yellow received a $700 million pandemic loan but failed to meet national security standards. Other freight carriers may absorb its business, causing potential disruptions and higher shipping rates for retailers, manufacturers, and ultimately consumers. So, you're all familiar with Yellow. You've seen this logo when you're riding the highways. You've seen yellow trucks. Well, no more. Yikes. That's a lot of people losing their job. And I have mentioned it before, but in most states in this country, the number one job for men without a college degree is trucking. It's trucking, yeah. That's the number one job. And we're going to see a lot of disruptions to trucking in the near future with all of these automated trucks. We don't need drivers for the trucks anymore. I predict within maybe 3 years, we're going to see driverless freight trucks on the freeway. The coming change is really going to be incredible. But Yellow's getting out ahead of it, and they're just running their business into the ground before it's done in by robots. So I guess they're ahead of the curve, right? They're ahead of the curve on that. Anyway, very sad. Yellow has been a classic company my entire life. I've been aware of Yellow trucks. I may have even had a Yellow brand toy truck as a kid. I think, maybe. Or at least there was one like at my preschool. I do remember playing with one of those. But anyway, they could be gone. And taxpayers, well, who cares about the hundreds of millions of dollars that the government loaned them that they don't get back? Because, you know. That's the way it goes. Anyway, well, we're not going to see any of the other money that the government spends on so much waste anyway. So what's another couple $100 million, right? Who cares? Now let's talk about a story near and dear to me. Hey, did you hear about the pandemic's impact on Multnomah County population? That's where I live. That's my county, Portland. Well, turns out that a lot of high-income earners took the phrase "work from anywhere" a bit too literally. Here's the story. During the first year of the pandemic, Multnomah County residents who moved away also took with them over $1 billion in income with them thanks to remote work opportunities. Higher income earners were more likely to relocate than before, many moving to nearby suburbs like Clackamas County, while some went as far away as the East Coast, right? The exodus of wealthy residents could impact Oregon's tax revenues and funding for social programs. Remains uncertain whether these migration trends will continue in the long term. So, probably all the rich people taken off because there's a bunch of vagrants camped out in front of their condo. That probably has nothing to do with it, right? The fact that a lot of the cities become unsafe with zombies, drug addicts just walking around and camping in front of very expensive properties, probably has nothing to do with all of these wealthy people just taking off. See, it's a lot easier for the very wealthy to pick up and take off than it is for lower income people to just pick up and take off, right? The first ones out of there are the rich because they got the means to do it. And that totally happened here in Portland. There's going to be a lot less tax revenue for parks, for city programs, for all this kind of stuff. Is that going to make things better? Is this strategy going to try to get more wealthy people to move back to Portland? No. No, I'm hoping that the pendulum is finally stopped. That peak insanity of how to run a city is over. But I don't know. I'm just holding out. I got to be here a couple more years. Anyway, is this happening where you are? I hope not. Because it sucks. Anyway, a little irony story coming up next about a daredevil. So did you hear about this French daredevil who fell off a 68-story building? If he'd only been one higher, for the meme. French daredevil Remy Lucidi, known for extreme sports, died after falling off the 68th floor of a Hong Kong residential building while attempting a climb. He was found on the rooftop after eluding security. The cause of his death is yet to be determined, but you can probably guess what it is. Fans mourned his passing on social media. So, have you ever watched these Daredevil guys where they climb around high buildings on the outside and climb up towers where they're not supposed to be? It's really, really scary stuff. I've seen them climb up all kinds of structures. Antennas, radio towers, whatever. And then they go and they don't have any safety equipment. I've seen people walk across, top of a bridge. It's maybe a foot wide. But there's nothing holding them there if they slip or if they... Crazy stuff. It's interesting watching these kinds of videos. I've watched lots of these videos. And always I will get that emotion. I will just get that feeling of, oh my God, I might fall off. Kind of the feeling when you're near the edge of something. I remember in high school, in our library, it was a 2-story, and the second story looked down onto an area. And there was all these study carrels, little study tables right up next to the area where you can look down, and I couldn't sit there. It just gave me this feeling like, not that I would jump, right? Because I wouldn't die if I jumped. I would just like break something probably. You know, it's maybe 30 feet high or something. But it just gave me that feeling. And I get the same feeling watching these videos on YouTube and Twitter or X or whatever it is, of these guys climbing around, these urban explorers climbing around on high buildings. But this kind of expected, you know, like if you do this kind of thing, it's not unexpected that you may fall. So this guy was 40. It's a real shame that this happened. I think he went by, he went by Remy. I forget what he went by. But I looked up some of his videos. He didn't have a huge, like there's not hundreds of videos of this guy just traveling the world doing it, but there's a few. Very scary stuff. Have you watched any of the videos of these urban explorers just climbing out, going on the edges of buildings? It's crazy. Crazy stuff. And every time I do it, I just get that feeling, whoo, you know, like being on a roller coaster. Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry that happened. Kind of expected though. So anyway, we need some good news. Let's end on some good news today. So this is some good news for people, even if you've had heart failure. Nope. Oh, hey folks, did you hear about the latest study? They found out that increasing your daily step count can improve our hearts, even after heart failure. Yeah, apparently our Fitbits have become more than just a naggy little accessory. They're now personal trainers and heart saviors. And you thought it was just there to guilt trip you about skipping the gym. So increasing daily step counts for people that have had a heart failure led to improvements in health in just 12 weeks, according to a recent study. The research showed that wearing devices like a Fitbit can be clinically significant in tracking health progress. Higher step counts were associated with better health scores, and changes in step count over time were linked to improvements in health status. This study highlights the potential benefits of using wearable devices to inform clinical care for heart failure patients. So this is just, again, more and more evidence of how important it is that exercise really is way more important than we act like it is. And if getting 5,000 steps a day, that's half of the 10,000 a day trend. 5,000 steps a day can make significant improvements to your heart. Man, I encourage you to do this. Do you have, I would like to know, do you have a Fitbit? Do you have one of these, I guess Apple has one, Samsung has one. There's lots of knockoffs. I have a Chinese knockoff that is great, that works really well for heart or for health tracking. Do you have a health tracking device that you wear? Let me know, because I might want to talk about this more. So let me know in the comments. Anyway, a bit of a shorter show today, perhaps. I don't know. But that is the news that I have for you today. Stick around. I'll go through all your comments in the after show. Hope you're doing fantastic. And I will see you mañana. Peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Apothecary John checking out over on Rumble saying, wow, my comments are so big and easy to read here on Rumble. Yeah, I'm trying. See, I'm trying to use incentives and logic to persuade people to use Rumble. I'm not just banning all comments on YouTube. I could do that, but that's kind of against my ethos, right? I want to encourage people to start to use other platforms, and I do it with the best ways that I can, right? I try to come up with a good argument. I try to come up to gently nudge people in directions. Maddening Spirit says, I think a lot of those Portlanders came to Bend. Kind of wish they didn't for some reason. I don't trust that. Out of touch. Suddenly aware rich people are going to vote in a sensible way here. Yeah, that's true. You know, if you escape a place, and then you go to a new place, but your politics, if you keep voting the exact same way that gave you the bad results before, you're going to bring the bad results to wherever you go. That is something. But most people don't think about that, do they? Right? They just, like, they're programmed. This is what I am. This is how I vote. This is what I do. So are you in Bend there, Maddening Spirit? I have a Galaxy Watch, works okay. Sounded like a correlation study, which annoys me when media extrapolates grand conclusions from them. Yes, it does. In fact, it's funny, I say correlation study so much, I didn't say it today because I hate repeating myself. But it is one of those correlated studies. You would expect that people that are in better shape, right, are the ones that are doing more steps anyway. However, in looking at the initial, I read the summary of it. I didn't get into the whole details of the study. But in the summary, they were looking at people that voluntarily did more steps. And there is a correlation there. So, again, we need more study on it. But it kind of makes sense, too. Right? Kind of makes sense, too. I know, at least for me, I'm correlated to have better sleep at night when I exercise during the day. But it could just be that I exercise during the day when I'm feeling good, and when I'm feeling good, I get better sleep. You know, I don't know. That's just a little example there. Though it wouldn't think it's controversial that getting your steps in is good for your health. There's also probably a lot of things that people who get their steps in actually have in common. Probably those people that are tracking their health, the people that choose to track their health, they're probably better at taking care of their health, right? Okay. All right, what's happening over on the YouTubes? Lots of comments today. Oh, yeah, in the beginning, the initial thumbnail that I had, I spelled argument A-R-G-U-E-M-E-N-T. And Natasha says, Tom's not sure how to spell argument, so he just goes for a variety of spellings. R-U-mint, says the pirate to the hero. Yeah, I used an obsolete spelling. It's one of the things I actually looked up after this happened. I looked up the actual rule in English grammar, and there isn't one for this case when adding ment that we take away, we drop a silent E. Amazement, right? We don't drop the silent E. There's some other examples that I saw that you don't necessarily have to drop the silent E when you add ment, and there's no actual rule in English grammar as to why we do that with the word argument. I don't like that. We can come up with a grammar rule. Either drop the silent E when adding ment or don't. But when it's just like, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. There's no rule to it. We can do better. English grammar people, come up with a rule. I like guidelines for my spelling. I like guidelines for my language, for the English language. We can do better than, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. We don't have a rule. So, anyway, it is an obsolete spelling. I did see that the word comes from the French word argument, however you say it there, which does have the UE in it. Maybe they dropped the E because they didn't want it to look French. Who knows? I actually couldn't find out why it's spelled that way. So there you go. Now you know. Probably don't care, but now you know. Tom, did you discuss the illegal COVID lab found in California? No, I have not discussed that, nor do I know about it. So I guess I'll have to check that out. Natasha says, I still have a fat CRT TV, haven't turned it on in years. That's the case. I haven't seen one in a long time. And I don't even think they put them out. If you, I've taken things to be, electronics to be recycled. And I don't even think they even try to resell CRTs in thrift stores, the old TVs. I don't think they even do that anymore. They just recycle them. Incandescent lights give off heat, probably enough to help our immune system. I didn't know this until recently, so now there's infrared stimulation. I have to use a heater or go into the sun. Interesting stuff. I prefer incandescent because it makes me look younger. The salt rock lamps are best. I don't even know what salt rock lamps are. So you learn all kinds of stuff every day. I really don't care about light bulbs, but the light produced by LED is harsh. Well, see, the thing is, the LED lights, they are getting better and better and better. When they first came out, they really were garbage, right? But each year, they just get better, and there's also different spectrums of bulbs. So maybe just the cheap ones that you might get at the dollar store don't give the light profile that you might get from other LED bulbs. When I find old light bulbs, I buy them. Easier on the eyes when reading, says Lucid Moments. Well, might be the last day today. Because I think it's August 1st. It's going to be illegal to sell these. Someone says, sorry, I misgendered your dog. It is funny. I don't like it if someone misgenders my dog. I don't. So I understand that whole thing. Home Depot carries them. Well, not anymore, because now we've banned them. They're banned. It is now against the law to sell those bulbs. LEDs produce white light that makes blue and purple things look truer to their color. Incandescent is good for the warm spectrum of colors, red, orange, yellow, brown, earth tones, etc. Lucid Moment says, dollar store in Tennessee still has old light bulbs. Wow. I have not seen light bulbs, and I go to dollar store, Dollar Trees out here. But I haven't seen old light bulbs in a long time. Airway to Stefan, or Steven, says, I don't have a TV. Okay. Tom, I think you need to move to a more human-friendly state. I agree. I may need to move to a more human-friendly country. But I'm here for a little while. I drive a 21-year-old Subaru WRX and live in Silicon Valley. They want to ban my car so bad. I get it. I get it. Let's See, not having a TV probably upped your IQ. I don't think that's how IQ works, but I get it. Not having a TV definitely keeps me from wasting free time vegging out watching garbage like Netflix. You know, I guess we're all different. I don't find the streaming things as compelling. I have no problem. It's not calling to me that it might call to other people. Right? I watch stuff when I want to watch stuff, but it's not always like, Tom, you got to watch this. Doesn't do that for me. However, chocolate ice cream, I cannot keep in my house. Because how can you do anything? How could I sit here doing a show knowing that there's just some good chocolate ice cream in my freezer that I could be eating? Right? I can't have it in my house. So I understand. Maybe TV is like chocolate ice cream for me, you know. Watch out for crazy climate activists. Might consider body armor. That's right. They coming for that old Subaru. LEDs are crap, and in my house, the old-style bulb lasts 3 times as long as an LED. It's interesting because LEDs are lasting longer. The quality is getting better in them. I have noticed that myself. I do have, so these colored lights are LED. I have a LED ring light, and then these lights here, kind of giving the more softer tones, are the compact fluorescent bulbs. But I have noticed that LED light bulbs are really getting better. They're not the same bulbs they were even 2 years ago. Even pre-pandemic, the LED bulbs were a lot worse than the ones that they're making today. That's just my take, my own, you know, on it. I used to get the BP trucks as a kid. Cool. How are they gonna pull off electric trucks when the batteries can't make it over here without catching on fire before they get here? Well, things, you know, I don't know. A good thing, the rich folk left before the homeless fight. Yeah, that's the thing. The richer you are, the easier it is to take off, right? And it's harder to take off if you're tied to your job, which is where you are. If you're tied to, you know, tied to where you're living, and also tied to your community. You know, the thing that's keeping me in Oregon, and my folks live here. If my folks didn't live here, I probably wouldn't be here. I can almost guarantee it. But that's what's keeping me in Oregon, and a couple other reasons. The weather here is fantastic, right? I know you're at have 120 degrees in Phoenix or whatever right now, but man, it's nice. Yeah, you really know that you're spoiled when you go, oh, it's so hot. Oh, what is it, 82 degrees? You know, so the weather is really nice here. It is really beautiful. Nature is really beautiful. That's one of the things that I love about here. And hopefully we're coming back from the disaster of the Portland homeless experience. But, you know, we'll see. Yeah, Remy will not be making his return flight back to Paris. That is true. Natasha says, climbing's difficult. I only climb with the top anchor and a belay. No freestyle for me. I get it. Carelessness to make a video. Stupid is as stupid does. It's really scary watching these, you know, urban explorers or whatever you want to call them. I do enjoy watching those videos. And one of the reasons I like it is because I know when I'm watching the video that they survived, right? Because they've posted the video, right? But no, I enjoy it. and with all these like GoPro and all the Insta360 cameras to film it, I think it's really, really incredible stuff. I'm a road cyclist. The extreme mountain stuff is too scary for me. I get it. Hairway to Steven says, I ride 50 miles a day and keep track through an app on my phone. Oh, are you using, is it Strava? I know Strava is really, really big with cyclists. I don't necessarily like having Google have access to like all my activity like that. But 50 miles a day, that's really something. I have a little a cubie, a little home, like a little cycle machine, I guess, made for cubicle workers. And the model that I have has Bluetooth, and I can keep track of it. And I put in my half a mile a day on that at night when I'm, watching the TV. But 50 miles, that's great. The Rumble chat sucks, though. What can we do to improve? Now, maybe you're saying the Rumble chat sucks because there's not enough people in the Rumble chat. Well, if that's the case, we got to get more people over there to the Rumble chat, and then the Rumble chat can be better, right? It can be better. And you know what? All right, this week I will add a few more emojis to the Rumble chat. Custom emojis to the Rumble chat. If you have a suggestion for a Rumble chat emoji, let me know in the comments on Rumble, and I will try to make an emoji for that thing. So now I got to smuggle light bulbs from Mexico? Great. Yeah, the thing is with... I don't know that they would be necessarily against the law to import. I don't know about that. I just know that they're not allowed to sell them in the U.S. So, there you go. I watch Netflix at my son's after Margarita Thursdays. I like the sound of Margarita Thursday. I like the sound of that. Chocolate ice cream is always a game changer. Anyway, any ice cream. Legalese, really late. Well, good to see you. Glad you're here. Remy was a victim of climb it change. I love wordplay jokes, and Muggsy Spud, you just had a great wordplay joke. Climb it change. Love it. Named my dog 10 miles, so I can say I walk 10 miles a day. I like it. I like it. Technically, that's absolutely true. Rumble chat sucks because we're not there. Exactly. Let's see. The Rumble chat isn't as easy to use as the YouTube chat. Maybe I'm just getting old. Good luck walking across the border with a bunch of glass light bulbs. Exactly. Rumble chat platform not as good. Not enough comments showing. Well, I will tell you what. I will have to play around with the Rumble chat, and you know what? I am always up for suggestions. So if you have an idea on how I can make that better, let me know, and I'll keep working on it. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I hope you all have a beautiful afternoon, and I will see you mañana. Until then, peace.